What's happening, subscribers? Matthew Pillmore here. I've got a really cool secret for you. Many of you may not know this, but I had the privilege back in the early 2000s of studying under one of the original creators of the first Fair Isaac FICO credit score. Now, this is the algorithm that, according to Fair Isaac themselves, 90% of the largest banking institutions rely on this specific algorithm to determine whether or not you are a good candidate for a lot of the debt weapons that we teach people how to get. So the FICO credit score is the most important algorithm for you to understand. And there is a relatively unknown secret in order to jump your credit scores very quickly by immense amounts. I'm talking 100 points or more in some cases. I've seen people get 800 credit scores in 30 to 45 days with this one secret. So make sure you stick around for this one. You're not going to want to miss it. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the VIP Financial Ed channel where we teach people how to bank a better way, how to borrow the right way, how to save tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars on leveraging in mortgages and non-mortgage related debts. Really cool topics being discussed on this channel, and we focus on three specific areas of your finances. So this is what we're best at. Number one, credit. Obviously, studying under one of the creators has helped us become nationally recognized as leading experts on the subject of personal credit development. Second, business credit development. Business credit development is something that we've become very good at because of relationships that we've established over the last decade and a half. Those two factors then lead into our ability to get access to large sums of capital. Again, not just tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars over time that we stockpile and then put to work for us. And that's the third area that we focus on, which is the cash flow optimization area. So the way to remember this is that all three of them begin with the letter C. We've got credit, capital, and cash flow. Now, the way that we increase cash flow, which is defined by us here at VIP as the difference between all of our income streams minus 100% of our expenses, the amount of money that's left over at the end of each month, we call cash flow. And you might call it disposable income or discretionary income. These are the leftover dollars that you can use for absolutely anything. And we obviously want to make sure that we're putting this to work. The larger that number is for you, the more freedom you'll end up having in life. It's a direct correlation. So your goal financially should be how quickly can you increase that number as much as possible. And over time, that number should be increased through income that's both residual and as passive as possible, meaning that it's coming in every single month and it's coming in whether you're working or playing. So credit is the first step because debt weapons allow us to achieve that end result much more quickly. And we can't get the best of debt weapons and we can't increase our collection of debt weapons as much as we otherwise would be able to without great credit profiles. So we've got to start with credit. And much of the business debt weapon capital accounts that are available require personal guarantees and want to see that personal credit established. So personal credit is a huge topic for us here on this channel. I want to give you this one technique. There are two names for it. Either the authorized user technique, AU, or piggybacking is another term that's used, and you can do some research for yourself on this online. I would just go online, Google search piggybacking for credit, and see what you come up with. Basically, this is where you can have yourself added to somebody else's credit profile, meaning their actual credit card accounts as an authorized user, and within 30 to 45 days, which is the typical reporting cycle for most creditors to the credit reporting agencies, you will immediately adopt the entire history of that account. So let's hypothesize an example. If I needed great credit because I wanted to buy a property and get a better mortgage, or I wanted to apply for my own credit cards, or I wanted to get an auto loan, or I wanted to go out and get access to some of these other debt weapons, but I was lacking with my scores and my profile, I could approach a close friend or family member who has established themselves with at least one credit card company provider that they would be willing to add me as an authorized user on. It usually requires a brief 5-minute call to the creditor. You simply conference and make the request. Now, a couple of bullet points that you're going to want to make sure you understand. First and foremost, the most common question I get from this is usually a concern from the primary account holder, meaning, what if my credit is negatively impacted as a result of adding this person who has negative credit to my current credit card? Rest assured that will not happen. Any of their negative credit information will not show up on your credit report, but your positive credit will show up on their credit report for that account that you add them to. So they will not negatively impact you. Furthermore, they can be removed at any time from your account versus a cosigner, which cannot be removed until the account is closed and paid in full. Cosigning is never recommended by us here at VIP. I think cosigning is foolish. I don't care what the relationship is. You could be a parent, you could be a child, you could be a spouse, you could be a lover, you could be a best friend. I think cosigning is a big mistake. All of our credit is treated independently. Your credit is individualized to you, mine is to me, and it's incredibly valuable. So if I were to cosign, I'm taking a huge risk by doing that, and it's not a risk I'm willing to take. I would recommend you not take that risk either. But with authorized users, you can get a similar impact by helping somebody or by being helped by somebody without all the downsides and the risk involved. All right, here are the bullet points that you have to understand. The best possible accounts to be added to or to add someone else to, number one, have to be accounts that actually report. The easiest way to know is if the creditor does not require the authorized user to provide a social security number, it's obviously not going to report on their credit report. It can't, it's impossible. So that's one litmus test you might be able to use. Otherwise, you could just flat out ask, will this report? Am I liable for this account? You want to be liable for the account. The intention is not to give access to the authorized user or to get access as an authorized user to the account. It's not about you having access and spending money on that specific credit card account. It's about just adopting the credit history. So it has to report or this entire conversation is useless. So I would obviously make that my first question. Secondly, I would make sure and confirm that the account has a long history. I recommend over 5 years. You know, if you're adding something that's new, you're only going to adopt a couple of months. We're looking at adding something that will add substantial history to your report. The longer the better. I would also encourage a large limit, meaning that the account has a credit limit of at least $5,000. And you've got to make sure that not only is the balance low on that account, but that it's been paid on time every single month. Any negative account history that's associated with that credit line will also show up on the authorized user's credit. So you have to be very careful to only add accounts that are going to positively contribute. Makes sense, right? So those are the questions that I would ask of the primary account holder up front. Again, do your homework. Go in online and research this strategy. It's been around a long time. FICO has threatened time and time again to remove this technique from actually impacting credit positively. A side note you're going to want to keep in mind, the goal from this is not to establish perfect credit, whereby it can get you into the 700s or even 800s by using this technique, but underwriters at this stage in the game are incredibly sophisticated, as are the automated underwriting software programs that are used by most lending institutions. So they can look beyond just the scores. Let's say that a minimum of 700 is required for a specific account you want to apply for. If you apply for that account after being added as an authorized user because your scores shot up quickly, the underwriters might notice that all of your accounts on your credit report are that of being an authorized user, in which case you may still be declined for the account you're applying for. My recommendation is use this tool in order to get you the scores you need to start developing your own credit. Once you have those scores, which again can happen as quickly as 30 to 45 days, where you'll see huge credit scoring increases during that period of time, in most cases, you can go out and apply, get your own credit, and begin building from there. So we use the authorized user strategy as a stepping stone to get access to accounts that are going to start facilitating construction, where we can then start adding some of the more popular and functional debt weapons that really create wealth. Now, I hope this has helped some of you. Really cool technique. Wanted to offer this credit scoring hack today for you. Wanted to also say thank you so much for checking out our channel. Make sure, if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. Guys, we're growing quickly. This is one of the fastest growing channels on the subject of credit, capital, and cash flow, which applies to all of us. So unless you, for some reason, are immune from benefiting from those three subjects, then you'll want to make sure you stay plugged in. Turn on the notifications so you're alerted every time we announce new topics, which come out at this point as many as 5 times per week. And furthermore, make sure you like, share, and comment in the videos. If you have other topics, if you've experienced results using this technique or others, we'd love to hear about it in the comment section below. And finally, we do provide every single viewer here on our YouTube channel one complimentary phone coaching session. This is an implementation session where you can take all of these various techniques and see how they would apply to your unique goals and how much faster you would reach those objectives by applying them, and what the type of financial or monetary savings you could expect from that would be. Very valuable phone call. Make sure you take advantage of that. We'll put the link in the description below so you can get that reserved. We're even seeing that time is being carved out from my personal schedule for some of you lucky viewers in order to have that conversation one-on-one. And I love those calls. I consider myself the luckier of the two for being able to have that conversation with you. So I'm anxious to dive in. Let's make a productive future together where we can really kind of redistribute the odds in favor of you versus the odds being in favor of the banks. So we'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you so much for checking this one out, and make it a great day today. Take care.